Welcome, welcome all to the SpeechBrain 2023 online summit. So, first of all, why such an event? So, the SpeechBrain community is growing very fast. We have like a larger and larger number of users, contributors, and so we decided to organize at least once a year an event where we can talk with our contributors, like explain what is going on, and have like such a more direct connection with our community. So I hope you will enjoy this event. The schedule is the following, the same that you can find on the website. So all the schedule is in EDT, like East time, and in the morning I will do this opening, right? Then we will alternate between industrial and academic talks. The first one will be done by Arseny Gorin from AI. Second one will be Yannick Esteve, Université Avignon. The third one is Ariane Nabert Halbert via Dialogue. And the last one in the morning is Yang Gao, University of Cambridge. Then we will take a short break. After that, in the afternoon, there will be a pretty big session where we are going to discuss about SpeechBrain, the roadmap and the updates. And then we will do the last two talks, one by Peter Plantinga, JP Morgan, and the other one by Evialzo Valentin, Orange Lab. Then we will conclude our workshop with a pretty interesting panel discussion where we'll discuss like open challenges in open source, involving also other contributors, other scientists running other open source audio processing toolkits. And we will conclude everything with our final remarks. So let me stress a little bit more the panel discussion, which will happen at the end. I think it's pretty interesting. So the title is Insights from the Open Source Speech Processing Ecosystem, and it will involve, right, really important people like Shinji Watanabe from ESPNet, Dan Povey, Caldi, Brian McPhee, Rosa, Sanchit Gandhi, Hugging Face, and Zhao Yang from Torch Audio. And we will discuss together, right, about our vision on open source, like challenges, like opportunities, etc. So I will encourage you to stay, if you can, until the end, because that's pretty unique, pretty interesting. Okay, so I hope among you there will be also most of our contributors and our users, but there might be also some of you that is not actually just curious about SpeechBrain and not expert on that. So I would like to take like the first few minutes to discuss about what is SpeechBrain and what is the philosophy and what is the philosophy and goals behind that toolkit, that project. So first of all, let me mention a little bit the motivation. So what we would like to do with SpeechBrain, but also with other open source software, is like making the technology to be the speech processing technology, or in general conversational AI technology, to be more inclusive. Indeed, it's going to be very hard. This is a hard time for inclusivity, because now we really, to be really competitive, we need huge computational resources. We need tons of data, and it's very hard for academic partners, but even industrial partners to be really state of the art, right, regarding these two aspects. And the other problem is code. Not always the code is available. Things are getting better, but there is still a lot of proprietary code in the community. And what we will want to do is to break down at least this barrier and make the technology more inclusive and easy to use for everyone. We are not alone in this, like with this kind of vision. There are many other open source toolkits like that were proposed in the last few years. Let me mention just some of them. Persec, NVIDIA, SPNet, K2, Torch Audio, Cocky AI, Node, Superb, and finally, of course, SpeechBrain. There are many others, but these are the things that the few of them that I think are pretty related to SpeechBrain. So let's talk about SpeechBrain. What is unique in SpeechBrain? What is the goal of our project? So the goal is speed up research and development of speech technologies, or in general, conversational AI technologies. This kind of technologies requires combining, conversational AI requires combining different technologies. If you have you would like to create I don't know, a chatbot or a virtual assistant Amazon Alexa, Google Home, etc. You need to combine different technologies together, right? So you may have voice activity detection, keyword spotting, speech recognition, spoken language understanding, dialogue, and many others. So what we have tried to do is to design from scratch a toolkit useful for all these technologies, right? And this is nowadays this is possible, right? Because years ago, even when I started working on conversational AI and speech technologies, these technologies were really separated, right? For instance, some modules were done with signal processing, some others with machine learning, but these days there is a unique underlying technology, which is deep learning, that can really help connecting these different tasks. So we design our toolkit with that idea in mind, and we call it SpeechBrain because we wanted something that, just like our brain, it's able to recognize speech, understand its content, and also understand some kind of meta information regarding speech, like language, emotion, speakers, and finally engage with human in a kind of natural conversation. And this actually was the main vision, and the other important philosophy and design choice, that we wanted to do something which is as inclusive and accessible as possible, which for us means that even practitioner beginners can actually understand speech brain basics in just few hours, right? In the past was very different, took months or at least weeks to start working with some toolkits. Now with SpeechBrain, we try to do our best to make sure that this is going to happen in a few hours. So we try to design our toolkit to make sure it's flexible, easy to use, modular, efficient, and also with good documentation. The documentation part is particularly important to us. Since the beginning, we tried to write helpful documentation at different stages, starting from low-level things like code comments, but also above with docstring and code snippets with examples that you can run and see if it works. We also design templates, which are special recipes which are very welcome and help you designing particular systems. And finally, at the top of that, we have a lot of tutorials which are written in Collab that allows you to run some code, see some feedback, etc. So these are actually important aspects that we try to consider as much as possible while we were developing SpeechBrain. So what can we do with SpeechBrain at the moment? You can do different things. First of all, you can do speech recognition, right? You can do speech enhancement, which is about cleaning up a speech signal. You can do speech separation, which is about you have input a mixture of signals, and you would like to separate, for instance, speaker 1 and speaker 2. Speaker recognition, we also have some technology for that. We have spoken language understanding. It's like speech recognition, but the output is not the text corresponding to what is uttered by the speaker, but some kind of semantic representation. We do language modeling, right? In this case, the goal is to predict the next word. We now support dialogue, which is pretty important these days. Speech synthesis, right? And many other technology. For instance, we do emotion recognition. We have recipes for language identification. We have recipes for beamforming, voice activity detection, diarization, graphing to phoneme, and many other tasks. So yeah, you can refer to our GitHub repo if you would like to see a list of all the technology that we support. So in SpeechBrain, we actually release a bunch of pre-trained models, and we release the pre-trained models on Hugging Face, such that people can just use our pre-trained model. And we are not just releasing the model, we are also releasing easy inference interfaces such that our users can use the model in a way which is as easy as possible. I think this is releasing pre-trained model is very important, but it's not all, right? In fact, with SpeechBrain, for every model we release, we also release the training recipe. Training recipe is like a kind of concept that we inherited from Caldi, and is the, let's say, the list of steps, the list of operation that you have to do to train your model. Okay, so we never release like a pre-trained model alone, but we always release the pre-trained model coupled with its corresponding training recipe. That, I think, is the way to go and makes everything much more transparent and replicable. SpeechBrain comes also with a bunch of techniques that make sequence learning very easily, right? So it's actually a sequence learning toolkit that you can use it for speech, text, and we will see later even on other type of sequence processing tasks like EEG, for instance. As mentioned, we have a lot of tutorials, and we would like to even expand them as much as we can, which is like what we are doing. You can find tutorials on different topics. We want SpeechBrain to be used by a large set of users, and thus we have released it with a permissive license, which allows you to use SpeechBrain for both commercial and non-commercial uses, right? So if you're a company, you can use SpeechBrain without any issue. And last but not least, if you use SpeechBrain, you can benefit from a large community, right? So SpeechBrain is based on PyTorch, so many people are using PyTorch, and also the specific SpeechBrain community is getting bigger and bigger and help you bugging codes or like developing your technology in general. So how SpeechBrain works? Essentially, you have a couple of things, right? So we in every model you have to specify the hyperparameters of the model in a file called hyperparameter file, which uses a hyperpyaml way to specify the hyperparameters. You can see it here to the right, which is pretty intuitive. And then you have another file, train.py, our trainer, where we combine the basic building blocks declared in the hyperparameter file to train the model that we need. So we have the same structures for all the tasks, such as you can jump from one task to another with minimum, essentially without the need to revise the technology, right? So you have the same flavor, right, around all the tasks that we are supporting. So all you have to do to train the model, you have to write Python, train.py, hparam.yaml, and this will train your model. A little bit of historical notes. We started the project in February 2020, while during the pandemic, essentially. We were very ready to start everything in person. All people were at Mila, right? And at some point the pandemic started, right? And we had to adapt ourselves to work remotely, which worked very, very, very well actually. And we were able to release the first version of SpeechBrain in March 2021. From that moment on, we continue expanding and improving our toolkit. Today, we had like more than 130 contributors, 6.5K stars on GitHub. Please, if you support our project, remember to start the project on GitHub. It's free for you, but for us is an important acknowledgement. We got more than 150,000 downloads on PyPy monthly, more than 100 models on Hugging Face, and 190 training recipes for 34 datasets. These are pretty important numbers, and these numbers are growing very fast, and hopefully will grow very fast even in the future. If you would like to know more information about SpeechBrain, like you can take a look at our website, our code repository, the tutorials that are available on the website, and of course you can use our pre-trained model, which are available on Hugging Face. But let me take this opportunity to do this announcement. Like SpeechBrain 1.0 is yet to come. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. So now we are ready. I think almost ready, right, to release the new version. Like we are working very hard, and very soon there will be that will be available. We will discuss about that in the this afternoon, like in the session called SpeechBrain Roadmap and Updates, and we will discuss here exactly what is new. So after this announcement, let me thank the core development team. Right, there are this is the current development team. We were like in the past there were other people, but this is the let's say the set of people that are contributing these days as core team members. So that's pretty important, and I would like to really thank all the contributors which are working very hard, specifically these days, to make SpeechBrain 1.0 possible in the next few weeks. So another important component of SpeechBrain are our academic partners. I have to mention Mila, University of Cambridge, University of Sherbrooke, and Université de Laval. So an academic partner, if you would like to become an academic partner, like you are part of an institution and you would like to be kind of part of the SpeechBrain team, we can definitely discuss that, and you can just send us an email at speechbrainproject@gmail.com. So an academic partner allows you to have like direct connection with the core development team. We can discuss about the projects that we have we can do together and things like that. So it's not academic collaboration. This kind of partnership is not one student working and contributing on one model, but it's like more let's say bigger cooperation across SpeechBrain team and the institution, and that works pretty well. So we normally publish a lot of paper together, and so the code repository gets bigger and bigger because of the academic partners. The other fundamental component of SpeechBrain are our sponsors. Let me mention Hugging Face, Baidu, Samsung, L'Avignon, Dialog, and OVH Cloud. So sponsors are typically giving us like a little donation, not necessarily big donation, but even a little donation are fine. We use this little donation to hire students that work on our project. So if you are a company, you are interested in like becoming a sponsor, for instance, you're using SpeechBrain and you would like to give back to the community, that's actually a good way to give us some sponsorship even I mentioned small sponsorship are fine. And if you are interested in that, you can send an email. Another fundamental component of SpeechBrain are our contributors. Right now, we had contributors, like 130 contributors. It's pretty remarkable. But remember that everyone is welcome to contribute. We need contributors. For instance, like imagine that you have developed this fancy technology in your interspeech paper. What about putting that in SpeechBrain? If you think that is good for you and good for the community, this is something we can discuss, right? So I would like to say that this is a win-win impact, because a win-win strategy, because if you open source like your model, your technology using a toolkit like SpeechBrain, for sure you gain visibility and maybe citations for your work. And on the other side, the community will take benefit from your work. So I think that's very important if you are in this situation, or you can just think about something which you can publish through SpeechBrain and you would like to do it. Remember, we are more than happy to discuss that. Okay, and there are different ways to do that. The safest way, let's say, the preferred way is send us an email, and we will discuss about your contribution. Okay, I think that's the last slide. I would like to actually thank the organization committee that worked very hard for organizing this event, like Titouan Parcollet, Celso Bacan, Adel Moumem, Andreas Nautz, François Godin, and myself. I hope you will enjoy this event. That's all from my side. I think there is time for a couple of questions, and maybe after that we can move on with the first industrial talk.
Yeah, quick questions if possible, because we are short time, it seems. Is there any questions for Mirco from the audience?
I think you can either switch on the microphone or just type in the chat.
Yeah, just type in the chat something.
Yeah, feel free to interact, because the goal of this event, it's really to interact as much as possible.
Maybe I can ask one question if nobody asks. So, I mean, you will talk about the roadmap, but in a nutshell, what are the most exciting things for SpeechBrain that you think ahead, in the future, Mirco?
Yeah, we will see that. Actually, there is a session specifically on that, but in a nutshell, I will say for the new version, we have refactor totally the search part of SpeechBrain, beam search and things like that. And we have something exciting to share here. We created the benchmark repository with some kind of benchmark for continual learning, for self-supervised learning, and even for EEG processing. We developed technologies for diffusion models, multi-speaker TTS, and many other things that you guys will see in the this afternoon, in the session. But yeah, there are pretty interesting things, and the team is working hard on that.
Yeah, there's one question on how soon we will get the 1.1.0.
We are working hard. Actually, it's many components are already available. There is a branch called Unstable branch where we are merging all the things related to SpeechBrain 1.0. Once we have finalized testing it and be sure that this is actually very reliable, we will merge that in development, and this is going to happen in a few weeks. So we are almost done, but before doing this move, we have to make sure everything is fine, and we have to do extensive tests to make sure SpeechBrain 1.0 is actually stable. But yeah, definitely it will be available very soon, because we are almost done.